ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהכל נהיה בדברו. We all remember how the Bible starts. God creates a man, a woman, and the first thing they do is disobey God's instruction. Why doesn't the Bible show us a couple that listens to God, that doesn't commit any errors, that is obedient? Why do you start showing fragility, that the human being has problems? Why don't we see a model human being, a model couple? You know, they do everything right. They have children, they go to school, you know, they do their homework. You know, everything works fine. Maybe after a few generations, something goes wrong. But the Bible starts right away. The first couple, no good. They commit an error immediately. Not only that, one son kills the other one. You know, there's a fratricide immediately in the Bible. Why does it start like that? Maybe the Bible is trying to tell us that disobedience, to be a rebel, is part of our DNA. This is how we were made. We were made in order not to be perfect. In other words, in order not to do things the way somebody tells us to do, but we have our own opinions. And not only that, we only learn from our mistakes, not from somebody else's mistake. Take a look at Abraham. Abraham is the father of the Jewish people. Suddenly, after he is in Canaan, which is the land that God told him to go to, even though he didn't tell him exactly where to go, he felt that's the promised land. There's a famine. So he goes down to Egypt, because in Egypt there is food. Just a moment. Abraham is the father of the Jewish people. Doesn't he have faith in God? God told him to go to that land. He told him that he'll have children and whatnot. Everything is going to be fine. There is hunger. God will provide. No, instead he goes to Egypt. In other words, he shows a little bit of lack of confidence in God also. Not only that, he tells his wife to lie. Say that you're my sister, in order to save himself. You know, Abraham, the father of the Jewish people, you would expect that he'd be the perfect human being. The third patriarch, Jacob, fools his brother, because he disguises himself with skins and whatnot and obtains the father's blessing. He buys being the firstborn, the rights of the firstborn, with soup, with lentil soup. You know, he doesn't behave right. Look at the children of Jacob. It seems that the Bible, from one place to another, tries to tell you that the human beings aren't that great. There's one man that the Bible says he was a tzaddik. You know who that man was? Noah. The Bible says, Noah ish tzaddik. He is a righteous man. After the deluge, after the Mabul, what does he do? He plants a vineyard, gets drunk, and he lies naked in bed, and his sons cover him. It seems one even sodomizes him. We don't know exactly. He's not perfect. There is no perfect human being. The great Moses commits a mistake, an error. God told him to speak to the stone, and instead he hit the stone. Even though it's very difficult to understand, is that such a great crime? Even the great Moses, our rabbis are not too sure. Maybe because he called the Hebrews a rebel people, that is why he merited some kind of punishment. He wasn't able to go into the land of Israel. He also is fallible. There is no perfect human being. This is why maybe in Judaism we could never conceive of man as God, because man is not perfect. He cannot be God. God is perfect. Man is not perfect. So why did God create a human being with deficiencies? He could have made a robot something that works perfectly well. Why do we have these problems? Well, as I mentioned earlier a little bit, I think that man is a being in the process of development, of becoming. Man was made by God, but he's not finished. He's not a finished product. Man himself has to perfect himself. And you only learn from your mistakes. You only learn from the errors that you commit, and you realize this is not the way to go. I have to do something else. Of course, an error that results in somebody's death is terrible. But I'm speaking of most of the errors that we commit. Man is always in the process of learning. Every generation we learn a little bit more. Even though our rabbis say that the more that we are removed from Mount Sinai, the more doubts we have. But it doesn't matter, because these doubts make us learn more, delve into our history in order to understand it better. What I'm trying to say is that God created man with imperfections, but he gave him the duty to perfect himself. That's why you have to go to school. That's why you have to learn. You have to study. This is why you have to grow, but not only in your knowledge. You have to grow also emotionally. Psychologically, you have to grow. Spiritually, you have to grow. Remember, you're not a finished product. Your parents brought you into this world, but now it's up to you to grow and to become a better human being.